Stop right there, criminal scum. You violate the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit. Then pay with your blood. Am I supposed to be impressed? This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death. Ah!
So I, much like everyone else, have been playing quite a bit of Oblivion Remastered. This game has definitely taken the top spot right now as the game that I've been playing the most of. I already have over 30 hours in it. I'm still enjoying it. I have completed the Knights of the Nine quest because I had to get the Elf Slayer armor, of course. So we got Pelinal's Crusader armor. And this game is pretty fantastic. It's definitely a fantastic remastered. Definitely not without its flaws, but you know what? That if my Bethesda game doesn't have bugs, I don't want it.
I can't jump. I can't move. I can't move either. We're both stuck. Door out of my way, son! Door's stuck! Door's stuck!
It's been such a good time to go back and play this game, and let me just go ahead and say that I really don't have a lot of nostalgia for Oblivion. I played this game over 10 years ago, and it was after I played Skyrim. I didn't play Oblivion until I played Skyrim, but that being said, I am having just such a good time with this, and I think it also helps that I haven't played Skyrim or any other Elder Scrolls game in quite a while, so overall, yeah, great time. But there's a question that I really want to ask, something that I've really wanted to pose for a while, and I've been asking both myself and a lot of my other friends about this as well that have also been playing the game. Is Oblivion the best Elder Scrolls game? Because looking at it and comparing it to the other games that I have played, to the other games that, you know, you look at the reputation of a lot of the other Elder Scrolls game, and I think it might be. Now, that being said, obviously everyone's going to have their preference. There's going to be people that prefer, the more casual people are going to prefer Skyrim. The more complex and hardcore RPG fans are going to prefer Morrowind. But if we go ahead and take in both of those games into aspect, if Skyrim is too handholdy and too dumbed down for a casual gamer, if Morrowind is too complex and too old school for the casual person to play, then is Oblivion the perfect mix of that? Because I'm kind of starting to feel that when I play, because the builds that you're able to do in this game compared to Skyrim are a lot more vast. Being able to actually play a hand-to-hand build is very cool, and you don't really see that, which is a really unfortunate thing, because much like how Fallout New Vegas is the perfect in-between of old and new Fallout games, then maybe Oblivion is the perfect in-between for old and new Elder Scrolls games in a way, because a lot of that classic feel is very much still in there with Oblivion, but a lot of the modern touches really make it into a game that almost anyone can play. And it's kind of crazy to think that this is going to be a lot of people's first Elder Scrolls game. Because for the longest time, it was Skyrim. Because they kept on re-releasing Skyrim over and over again. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely still some things that I have issues with in Oblivion, and that kind of goes with any Elder Scrolls game, and that's mainly just there's not a lot of variety with dialogue. But at the same time, I can understand, because it's not the type of game that Bethesda is making when it comes to Elder Scrolls. And I've always been able to tell that Bethesda's always been more comfortable making Elder Scrolls than they have been with Skyrim. But Oblivion really is the perfect in-between for that, and you see a lot of people that have been posting about the nostalgia that they have for Oblivion and how the new remastered really is kind of like a perfect return to form for that, because while it is mostly the remaster, it mostly is the same game. The main changes that have come in have been new voice acting for anyone who didn't have a unique voice actor for the races, but other than that, oh, and the upscale, obviously, like the upscale graphics, clearly looks better, new customization options, you can actually make a decent looking character while still having the abominations that you can make. But Oblivion really is, I think it might honestly be that perfect in-between, because even though it does play very well, and honestly, even the combat, I think, feels a lot better in this game compared to how it does in Skyrim, because a lot of the time, like, when I hit something, it actually feels like I'm making an impact. Unlike in Skyrim, where it just felt like I was hitting just a sponge, and it was barely flinching unless I was doing a heavy attack. And I think that's why Stealth Archer was so popular in Skyrim for the longest time. Currently, I'm doing a Sword and Shield Paladin build with some spells up my sleeve, a lot of Restoration, and yeah, even some Destruction magic, because I love being able to shoot lightning bolts out of my hand. And honestly, even the magic system in this game, I just feel like it's a lot more vast, but at the same time, to not pick on Skyrim for a little bit, I have attempted Morrowind multiple times, and every single time I have failed. Because that game might honestly be too old for me to play, because it's a little too complicated and a little too old for me, because I just don't really vibe with the concepts and just how that game works. Maybe I will. I do want to get to that game eventually. I want to be able to actually play Morrowind, because I know there's insane stuff like being able to make your own spells and mix spells together. But you look at Oblivion, and there's just so much more openness, but while restricting just enough to make it appealing and simplified. It's always like, there's a great saying from GW where it's simplified but not simple. And I think Oblivion really is that perfect in-between. But also the story is really good as well. Like, I think the story is actually quite compelling when you really look at it, because it also kind of has... It makes you into a character that's important, but also not like this grand bravado type of person of, you are the Chosen One, you are the Dragonborn. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Chosen One stories. I think Chosen One stories definitely have their time and place, but I think there's a lot more of having an open-ended character, and I think Oblivion does a better job at having an open-ended character, with you just kind of being someone who is appearing in the Emperor's dreams. And it feels a lot more open to interpretation over who the hero of Kavak could be. Because, especially both in Morrowind and Skyrim, I feel like it kind of comes down, they lean a lot more towards who's on the cover art. And this might just be a personal preference for me. Whenever I play an Elder Scrolls game, I like to play the race that's on the cover. I like to play a Dunmer in Morrowind, an Imperial in Oblivion, and a Nord in Skyrim. Now, not all the time. I've played a Khajiit before in Skyrim as well, but I feel like with Oblivion, it's a lot more open to interpretation over who your character can be, and that to me is a very important thing, because I always love being able to kind of create my own character, and that kind of goes into what made Baldur's Gate 3 such a great game as well, because you were able to kind of make your own character and be this kind of self-inserted character in this grand scale adventure, and you're part of something greater. Only in a little bit more of a different way, because, yeah, you are a very important person, but you kind of make yourself into this important figure. You make yourself into this important figure while you get involved with the factions and the main story, and that's why, and the more I talk about it, the more I think that this really might be the best Elder Scrolls game, because it is that perfect in-between. Now, I know that we're all going to have our preferences. We're going to have people that prefer the more convoluted and complex styles of Morrowind. We're going to have the casual people, not saying casual in a bad way, by the way, that like Skyrim. And Skyrim has, listen, you say what you will about it, we all play it, and those mods the mods speak for themselves. Let me just say that. And then the 3 Daggerfall people and the 2 Arena people can argue as well, but listen, man, it's getting harder and harder to even play those 2 fucking games, so... But yeah, this is more, not really that much of like a big point here, but I just want to open a discussion. So for those of you guys who are playing Oblivion Remastered as well, I want to know, what have you guys been thinking of the game? Is this your first time playing it? Have you guys played it before? I want to know, do you guys think that Oblivion is the best Elder Scrolls game? Do you think that there are things that Skyrim does better, Morrowind does better? Is Oblivion the best in between? Because I have heard a lot of different opinions and a lot of discussions when it comes to all of that, and I really want to know. I want to open up that discussion, and I also want to hear about what you guys are playing. Let me know what race and what class you guys are playing. And if you guys picked if you guys picked an Altmer, I'm coming after you.